Shalom. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge Al-Akyam, who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Shabai from GMS Denver camp. And I'm going to just, through the Spirit, I'm going to go in Amos, the 5th chapter, starting at the top. Hear ye this word which I take up against you, even a lamentation, O house of Israel. Okay? The virgin of Israel is fallen. She shall no more rise. She is forsaken upon her land. There is none to raise her up. All right, talking about our people, talking about the nation of Israel, the Israelites. We've been down and out for a long time. That's why we needed Yahweh Shai to come, and come on the scene to redeem us. And right now, we always tell you, he's only redeeming a portion of his people, which are the elect, the remnant. For thus saith Yahawah, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, the Most High, the city that went out by 1,000 shall leave 100, and that which went out forth by 100 shall leave 10 to the house of Israel. All right, just going in on the decline of our people. For thus saith Yahawah unto the house of Israel, seek ye me, and ye shall live. So what's going to cause us to live? It makes you think about Ezekiel, the 37th chapter. The breath coming on the bones, the breath, having the understanding. If we didn't have Yahweh Shai, we wouldn't have no understanding. Okay? So what makes us and causes us to live is Ezekiel 37. Let me grab that. Oops. Ezekiel 37. Thus saith Yahawah B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, the power unto these bones. The bones are Israelites. Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. Okay? So without this understanding, without Yahweh Shai coming on the scene, our people would still be in a dead state, including the prophets. Okay? For thus saith Yahawah unto the house of Israel, seek ye me, and ye shall live. Okay? But seek not Bethel, nor enter into Gilgal, and pass not by Beersheba, for Gilgal shall surely go into captivity, and Bethel shall come to naught. And that's where two places where the Israelites dwelt. It wasn't going to be good for our people because of the wickedness that our people were committing, because of our people turning back on the Most High, Yahawah, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And you see the results up until this day. We're still under the heathen. We're still in captivity. We're still subject to payments. We're still in a place that's not our rest. You see, we're still putting, our money in bags with holes in it. Okay, seek Yahawah, and ye shall live. Ooh, the phone chimed on that. Lest he break twice. Seek Yahawah, and ye shall live. That's what's going to cause you to live, to have life, is having the breath of life in you, which is the understanding of the scriptures, which is faith in Yahawah Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Lest he break out like fire in the house of Joseph and devour it, and there be none to quench it in Bethel. Ye who turn judgment to wormwood and leave off righteousness in the earth. Seek him that maketh the 7 stars and Orion, and turneth the shadow of death into morning, and maketh the day dark with night, that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. Yahawah is his name, okay? And you can tell it's not going to just say the Lord is his name like it's written here. You know, Esau Edom, you know, he had to take those true names out because he never wanted you to know your power's name. He never wanted to know your God's name. That's why he just puts the Lord, which is merely a title, okay? But it says, you know, the 7 stars, Orion, Yahawah created all that, okay? That strengtheneth the spoiled against the strong, so that the spoiled can come against the fortress. They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. All right, and you watch our videos, you end up hating us if you're not of the elect, because we're speaking uprightly, we're speaking the truth, and we're speaking it whether you like the message or not, okay? Ephesians 4:16. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? And that's what it is. We become the enemy even of our own people because they are locked into lies that they've been taught by the so-called white man. They're locked into lies they've been taught in captivity, okay? We're in captivity right now. All the churches set up here in Babylon, America are, you know, teaching you lies. And that's why you hate the true men of the Lord. That's why you hate the one that rebukes you in the gate. Okay. All right. Let's go to that verse in Jeremiah. Okay. Let's see, Jeremiah 16 and 19. It says, "O Yahawah, my strength and my fortress, and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, Surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity and things wherein there is no profit." Okay? So there's no profit in these lies that you Israelites are hanging on to. Okay? You're not going to receive salvation, even though you're dumbass walking around telling people you were saved in 2015. You know? Oh, I came to Jesus in 2015. I've been saved. No, you're not saved. Nobody's saved. You know, salvation goes into deliverance from the molestation of your enemies. You're still in the midst of your enemies, you Israelites. You go outside, you're going to see all your enemies. You know, you go to the grocery store, you're going to see your enemies. You go to the workplace, you're going to see your enemies, whether you believe it or not. Okay? And your true enemy, your chief enemy is Esau Edom, the so-called white man, the nation that has, you know, has tried to afflict you since the beginning. Okay? And if you're not willing to believe the so-called white man is your enemy, guess what? That's why you hate the one that rebuketh you in the gate, even though we're speaking uprightly. You can't receive something like that because you've been tainted. You've been polluted. Your mindset is through. Okay? You've been in Babylon too long. All right? You suffer from Stockholm syndrome. You see? So we're going to go back to Amos 5. Amos 5 and 11. It says, "For as much therefore as your treading is upon the poor, and ye take from him burdens of wheat, ye have built houses of hewn stone, but ye shall not dwell in them. Ye have planted pleasant vineyards, but ye shall not drink wine of them." And this is going into the curses. Look at Issachar. Every time I see these type of verses, I think about Issachar, the so-called Mexican. You building houses, but you're not going to live in them. You know, who's the main, you know, who's the main tribe at the construction site? It's you so-called Mexicans, all right? The Issachar, the tribe of Issachar, which that name Issachar in Hebrew, it means for hire. Who do they hire to build these houses? Who's going to live in the houses? Is the so-called Mexican going to live in the houses he built, or is he building it for the so-called white man, his enemy, his oppressor? Okay, it's a curse. You build the houses, but you're only building them for the Edomite to go live in it. right? And yeah, you have anomalies where you're gonna have Jake up in some of them big ass houses they build, because there's $1 million houses in Babylon. There's multi-million-dollar houses in Babylon. And the majority of those houses that are being built, Jake's building them up, but guess who's dwelling in them? It's not Jake, For I know your manifold transgressions and your mighty sins. They afflict the just, they take a bribe, and they turn aside the poor in the gate from their right. And that's what even the leaders of our own people, some of these wicked ass Israelites on the streets or on the YouTube, they've taken that bribe, they've taken the bag, and they turn aside from the poor, which the poor are you Israelites. You have Israelite men. I'm thinking about what is that group? Genesis, right? Like our elders call them Heckle and Jekyll, Dumb and Dumber, right? Whatever you want to call those dudes that are the leaders of Genesis, they took the money. Before I started to do this lesson, I just saw on my screen, on my computer screen, why they have a video called "Why I Was Wrong." His name's not Yahawah, and I went back to Jesus. You see, why are they saying that? Because they took a bribe. They took a bag, and they're turning their. It says right here, and they turn aside the poor in the gate from their right. Your right is to call on the true names as an Israelite, but you got Genesis, which is a sellout Hebrew Israelite group, which they're trying to now they're trying to push the vibration and try and push lies, because they took a bag, they took money, they took a bribe. Verse 13, therefore, and the Most High is going to deal with men like that, whose mouths must be stopped, like it tells you, I believe, in Titus. This is 13. It says, therefore, the prudent shall keep silence in that time, for it is an evil time. Seek good and not evil, that ye may live, so Yahawah, the power of hosts, shall be with you as ye have spoken. Okay? And how do you seek good? That is by taking heed to this word. Hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. And that's what the true men do. We're establishing judgment. We're telling you, hey, you want to call on some false names, you're going to be judged. All right? You want to sit there and teach that all men can have salvation when the scriptures tells you over and over that this is for the Israelites. Salvation belongs to the Israelites. Okay? This is us establishing judgment, telling Esau Edom he has a price to pay for his wickedness. You got two sides to that wickedness, because you got Esau, who's the wicked by nature, and then you have Jake, who's the wicked that follows him. 2/3 of our people, not half, 2/3 of our people, follow that wickedness. It may be that Yahawah of hosts will be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph. Therefore, Yahawah, the power of hosts, the Lord, saith thus, wailing shall be in the streets, and they shall say in all the highways, alas, alas. And they shall call the husbandman to mourning, and such as are skillful of lamentation and wailing. And this is, you got to mind you, this is, Amos is before Yahawah. Right? I mean, we know Yahawah was the first spirit created. He was the literal first fruit, right? First spirit ever created. But, this is dealing with the time when Yahawah B'Shem Yahushai had hid their face from the Israelites. Okay? So it was a lamentation and wailing in the streets. You go to the prophet, and there was a time when you go to a prophet and he says, I cannot break down the seals. I have no understanding. That's why Yahawah came on the scene, right? I cannot read it, for the book is sealed, right? But now we're in a time where Yahawah, we know that Yahawah loosened the seals and gave us the understanding. All right, that's a whole nother lesson. But this is verse 17. And in all vineyards shall be wailing, for I will pass through these, saith Yahawah. Woe unto you that desire the day of Yahawah. To what end is it for you? The day of Yahawah is darkness and not light. Right. So you're over here not fearing Yahawah B'Shem Yahushai. You're not getting yourself in order. You're not getting your family in order, right? You don't fear Yahawah B'Shem Yahushai. So what's that day going to be like to you when Yahawah B'Shem Yahushai visit the earth? It's not going to be good if you're not in order, if you're not in the right garment, if you're not calling on the true names, right? Verse 19, as if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him. Okay? So it's everywhere you turn, it's perilous. Everywhere you turn, it's danger. And that's going to be the day of Yahawah B'Shem Yahushai, which that day starts out with Jacob's trouble, where everywhere you turn, it's going to be just danger, death, destruction. Verse 20, shall not the day of Yahawah be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it? I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Okay? The Most High Yahawah B'Shem Yahushai hates the wicked. He hates it. They hate it when you're calling on the false names. You know? They hate it when you assemble yourselves in the whorehouse, which is also known as the pagan churches here in Babylon, America. You taking your family, if you take your kids. Oh, I have this dude that I work with. He was like all feeling all sad and shit. He's Jake, but he's a 2/3. He's over there looking all sad. I said, oh, what's up going on with you? Oh man, I'm sad. I'm trying to bring my family closer. And he's got an Edomite wife, because I seen her. He brought her to our job one day, and I seen her. She appeared to be an Edomite, but he was like, I'm sad because she doesn't want to go to church. I wanted to go to the church, and she doesn't want no part of it. And I'm like just wagging my head, like, damn, see, these dudes don't know the truth. Jake don't know the truth. 2/3 of our people are stuck in darkness. All right, if he knew the truth, he would know that, hey, don't worry about it. You go if you really want to go to church, you need to learn from the true men that are hated in the gate, the true men that are teaching on the street corners, But the Most High got you in a the Most High got you in a trick bag, because you over there. First of all, you want to go to the pagan Christian church, or you want to go to the pagan Catholic church, which the Most High, he hates those assemblies. He hates their feast days. You see, as it reads right here, though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Right? Because Jake been taught that it's for everybody, so they get all depressed when their Edomite wife doesn't want nothing to do with righteousness. Because you don't know the truth. If you knew the truth, you know that you married into the enemy. You know what I'm saying? You have kids, which your kids are still Israelites, because the seed line and the heritage comes from the father. But nonetheless, your wife, you don't know what's going on. You're all depressed because you don't realize that, it's not for the Edomites. There's a reason why your wife doesn't want to go to church, because she's a descendant of your enemy. She's the offspring of your enemy. But you walking around over here all sad and shit, hanging your head low, praying to white Jesus that your woman's she's gonna be converted. It's not gonna happen, man. But if you don't know the truth, guess what? You're just stuck. But if you know the truth, you ain't even tripping on that, right? So let's keep reading. Take thou, verse 23, take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy viols. Right? And the Most High, he don't like it. He don't like listening to all that bullshit pagan Christian music. I remember when I was in the world and I was still going to those pagan churches, and they had a fucking Edomite rock band. Our God is an awesome God. And it's fucking playing the guitar and the drums and shit and rocking out. The Most High is not trying to hear none of that bullshit. That's dedicated to Baal. Those songs they sing in these pagan churches. He said, take away from me the noise of thy songs. The Most High is not hearing the melody, and really it's going into the song, the true song, which is the understanding of this truth, right? Revelation 14 and starting at 3, talking about the men who only the men of the 144,000 can learn the true song. That's the only song the Most High is listening to. The men who are teaching the true song, all right? He don't want to hear the songs that are off key, the songs that sound like somebody butchering the scriptures at a karaoke night, you know? Revelation 14:3, this is the song. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. Which is who's the 144,000? 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes of Israel, the men who are singing the real song, the true song, sound doctrine. Okay, our song is we're all in unison, we're all harmonizing. All the prophets, we're basically the 144,000. We're harmonizing together over the internet, right? And as far as these offerings, the Most High is not accepting your offering if you're in a wrong, you're teaching the wrong doctrine. But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Have you offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel? But ye have borne the tabernacle of your Moloch and Chion, your images, the star of your God, which is a false god, which ye made to yourselves. Right, they're made by the artificer, which is a person who would make false graven images, create idols. That's what our people lock into, and it still happened to this day. Moloch being, the god of child sacrifice, I believe the Canaanite god, and then Chion is a if I'm not mistaken, a Moabite god. Okay, so these are both, or I'm thinking of Chemoth, but Chion nonetheless is a pagan god, a false idol, which our people, they get involved in all the gods of the heathen, which the scriptures tell you the gods of the heathen are idols. Verse 27, last verse. Therefore will I cause you to go into captivity beyond Damascus, saith Yahawah, whose name is the power of hosts. Yahawah, right? So check it out. This has been fulfilled. We are in captivity way beyond Damascus. Look at the captivity we're in. Damascus was in the Middle East, right? We are in captivity, which is slavery, way beyond Damascus, man. So these prophecies they've been fulfilled. Everything in the scriptures has been fulfilled. The only way is Yahawah B'Shem Yahushai. The only way we're going to have any type of comfort is by turning to Yahawah B'Shem Yahushai, right? Like it tells you in the verse that I read, one of the first verses I read up here. Let's see, verse 4. For thus saith Yahawah unto the house of Israel, seek ye me and ye shall live. Seek Yahawah and ye shall live. So with that, I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahawah B'Shem Yahushai B'Shem Ka Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.